Greetings, mortal. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Phantom Narratives, where shadows dance with tales untold and the echoes of the beyond resonate through the ages. I am Elena Bethorie, your guide through the veiled realm of spirits and phantoms. Today, our journey begins with a haunting entity steeped in Japanese folklore, the vengeful spirits known as Onryo. In the shadow corners of Japanese folklore, a mist whisper carry on the wind and mournful cries of the departed lie the origins of the Onryo. To understand these vengeful spirits, we must journey back through the annals of time, to the Japan where honor and duty held sway over the hearts of men, and where the line between the living and the dead blurred in the darkness. Long before the tales were penned and the legends told, the concept of the Onryo found its roots in the spiritual beliefs of ancient Japan. Shrouded in mystery and steeped in reverence for the ancestor, these beliefs formed the foundation upon which the Onryo would later emerge. In the mythic landscape of Japanese cosmology, the boundary between the living and the dead was permeable, with spirits known as yurei wandering freely between the two realms. These yurei, though often depicted as ethereal and otherworldly, were not inherently malevolent. Instead, they were seen as the souls of the departed, bound to the mortal realm by unfinished business or unfulfilled desires. It was from this fertile soil of spiritual belief that the Onryo emerged, a darker, more malevolent incarnation of the restless dead. Unlike the yurei, whose presence was often fleeting and beneath, the Onryo was driven by a burning need for vengeance, their spirits twisted by the injustice suffered in life. The origins of the Onryo are as varied and complex as the story themselves. Some tales speak of warriors betrayed by their lords, their loyalty repaid with treachery and deceit. Others, tales of lovers caught asunder by jealousy and betrayal, their hearts consumed by an all-consuming rage. Yet, regardless of the circumstances that gives rise to them, all Onryo shares a common thread: a deep-seated desire for retribution against those who wronged them in life. It is this insatiable thirst for vengeance that binds them to the mortal realm. Their spirits, unable to rest until justice is served. In the realm of the Onryo, appearances are often deceiving, and what may seem beneath at first glance can quickly turn to terror. These vengeful spirits, born from depths of human suffering and despair, manifest in forms both grotesque and haunting, their presence marked by a palpable sense of dread. At their core, Onryo are beings of pure emotion, their physical forms a reflection of the anguish and rage that consumes them. Their faces are often twisted and contorted, their features distorted by the weight of their suffering. Eyes, once filled with the life and light, now burn with the cold, malevolent glare, their gaze piercing the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead. But it is not only their appearance that sets the Onryo apart from other spirits. Their manifestations are often accompanied by eerie phenomena, from inexplicable cold spots and disembodied whispers to poltergeist activity and unexplained noises. In places touched by tragedy and injustice, the presence of an Onryo can be felt like chill wind blowing through their souls, leaving those who encounter them shaken to the core. Yet, despite their terrifying appearance and supernatural abilities, Onryo are not mere specters to be feared and avoided. They are, at their core, beings of profound sorrow and longing. Their spirits bound to the mortal realm by the weight of their unresolved grievances. In Japanese folklore, it is said that the Onryo appearance can be influenced by the manner of their death and the circumstances surrounding their departure from the world of the living. Those who met violent ends may appear with wounds still fresh upon their flesh. Their blood-stained form a grim reminder of the horrors they endure in life. Others may take on more ethereal forms, their body translucent and insubstantial, like wraiths drifting through the darkness. But regardless of their appearance, one thing remains constant: the aura of malevolence that surrounds them, casting a shadow over all who dares to cross their paths. It is this sense of foreboding that makes the Onryo such formidable adversaries. Their wrathful spirit capable of wreaking havoc upon the living with but a thought. To understand the vengeful nature of the Onryo, one must delve into the depths of human suffering and the injustices that fuel their eternal wrath. Born from the ashes of betrayal, deceit, and unfulfilled desires, these restless spirits are bound to the mortal realm by their burning need for retribution. At the heart of every Onryo lies a story of tragedy and loss, a tale of injustice and despair that echoes through the ages. Whether betrayed by the loved one, wronged by the trusted friend, or murdered in cold blood, its spirit carries with it the weight of its own suffering, a burden too heavy to bear. But what drives these vengeful spirits to such extreme? What compels them to cling so fiercely to the world of the living, even as their souls are consumed by hatred and despair? The answer lies in the depths of their anguish, in the wounds that refuse to heal and injustices that cries out for retribution. For the Onryo, vengeance is not merely a desire, but a necessity, a driving force that propels them forward through the darkness. Their spirits are fueled by the flames of their own suffering, their rage burning like a vampire that consumes all in its path. Yet, despite their overwhelming thirst for revenge, the Onryo are not mindless creatures driven by blind fury. They are, at their core, being a profound emotion, their action guided by the same desires and fear that plague the living. It is this human element that makes them such compelling figures in Japanese folklore, their stories serving as cautionary tales of consequences of moral transgressions and societal injustices. But while the Onryo may seek vengeance for the wrongs done to them in life, their actions often have unintended consequences, wreaking havoc upon the innocent as well as the guilty. In their single-minded pursuit of retribution, they become agents of chaos, their wrath leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. It is this cycle of violence and suffering that lies at the heart of the Onryo eternal torment, a never-ending spiral of anguish and despair that threatens to consume all who dares to cross their path. Yet even in the depths of their despair, there remains a glimmer of hope, a faint whisper of redemption that calls out to those who would listen. In the annals of Japanese folklore, there exists a tale so tragic and horrifying that it has captivated audiences for centuries. This is the story of Oiwa, a woman whose life was marred by betrayal, deceit, and ultimately, vengeance. Her tale, immortalized in the classic Japanese ghost story Yotsuya Kaidan, serves as a haunting reminder of the consequences of moral corruption and enduring power of human spirit. Oiwa was once a radiant and virtuous woman, married to a ronin named Kamiya Ieman. Their union was meant to be one of love and devotion, but the darkness within Ieman's heart soon revealed itself. Driven by ambition and greed, Ieman conspired with a wicked doctor named Itokihei, who sought to marry his granddaughter Ome to Ieman. As Oiwa's pregnancy progressed, her health began to decline, leaving her weak and vulnerable. Taking advantage of her weakened state, the treacherous doctor offered Oiwa a cream for treatment, promising to alleviate her suffering. Unbeknownst to Oiwa, the cream was laced with deadly poison, intended to rid Iemon of his inconvenient wife. As the poison took hold, Oiwa's once beautiful face became disfigured, her features twisted in agony. Horrified by her transformation, Oiwa was driven to the brink of madness, her mind shattered by the horror of what had befallen her. Meanwhile, Iemon, blinded by his greed and ambition, devised a wicked plan to rid himself of Oiwa and marry Ome. He instructed his servant, Takuetsu, to seduce Oiwa and then accuse her of infidelity, providing Iemon with a convenient excuse to cast her aside. On the previous night of deception, while Iemon was away, Takuetsu entered Oiwa's chamber intending to carry out his master order. However, upon seeing Oiwa's disfigured face, he was overcome with terror and compassion. Showing her the mirror, he revealed the true extent of her deformity, driving Oiwa to the brink of madness. In a fit of despair and anguish, Oiwa, unable to bear the sight of her own reflection, grabbed a nearby sword and punctured her own throat. As she lays on the floor bleeding to death, she cursed Iemon's name with her dying breath, her vengeful spirit born from the depths of her suffering. From that moment on, Oiwa's spirit roamed the earth, haunting Iemon and his accomplices with her spectral presence. Her disfigured visage became a harbinger of doom, her ghostly whispers echoing in the darkest corners of their minds. Not even in death, Oiwa's spirit found no peace, her thirst for revenge driving her to torment Iemon until his dying breath. In the end, it was not vengeance that brought solace to Oiwa's tortured soul, but the knowledge that justice had been served and her tormentor had met his deserved fate. As society evolves, so too do the tales we tell and the monsters we create. In the modern era, the vengeful spirits known as Onryo continue to captivate audiences around the world. Their stories reimagined and retold through various mediums, from film and television to video games and literature. One notable example of the Onryo's enduring appeal in popular culture is their portrayal in the realm of video games. In games such as Battlefield and Corpse Party, players are thrust into the world of horror and despair when the spirits of the vengeful walk among them, their presence a constant threat lurking in the shadows. But perhaps the most iconic representation of Onryo in modern gaming can be found in Dead by Daylight, a multiplayer horror game where players take a role of either survivor or killers. Among the roster of killers are two characters inspired by Japanese folklore, Ren Yamaoka, also known as the Spirit, and Sadako Yamamura, better known as the Onryo. Ren Yamaoka's story is one of tragedy and loss, as he seeks revenge against those responsible for her untimely demise. In the game, players are thrust into her vengeful quest for justice, as they hunt down survivors with her spectral powers and unworthy abilities. Similarly, Sadako Yamamura's tale is one of horror and despair, as she hunts the cursed videotape that bears her name, seeking to spread her malevolent influence to all who dare to watch it. In Dead by Daylight, players can embody the spirit of Sadako, using her powers to terrify and torment their victims as they struggle to escape her grasp. But it is not only in video games that the Onryo find new life. In recent years, they have also made their mark on the world of film and television, with adaptation of classic tales such as The Ring and Joan the Grudge, captivating audiences around the world. In these modern interpretations, the Onryo are often portrayed as more than mere monsters. Their stories imbued with a sense of tragedy and longing that speaks to human condition. They are not simply creatures to be feared and avoided, but complex characters with their own hopes, dreams, and desires. Yet, despite their newfound popularity in the world of popular culture, the Onryo remain rooted in the ancient traditions and belief of Japanese folklore. Their stories serve as a reminder of the power of the human spirit to endure even in the face of unimaginable suffering, and their presence continued to captivate and terrify audiences around the world. The vengeful spirits known as Onryo are not merely figments of imagination or characters in tales spun to entertain. They represent something deeper, something more primal and hauntingly familiar to the human sight. As we delve into the psychological and philosophical implications of the Onryo, we uncover layers of meanings and insight into the human condition. At the heart of the Onryo lies the concept of justice, of righting the wrong committed against them in life. But what is justice, and who decides what is just and what is not? These questions lie at the core of the Onryo's eternal torment, as they grapple with the consequences of their actions and the moral ambiguity of their quest for vengeance. In many ways, the Onryo serve as a mirror to our own sense of justice and morality, reflecting back to us the darkness that lies within us all. Their stories force us to confront the uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world we inhabit, challenging us to re-examine our beliefs and values in the face of unimaginable suffering and despair. But the Onryo are not merely symbols of vengeance and retribution. They also represent the power of the human spirit to endure even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Despite the horrors they have endured, they continue to fight for what they believe is right. The spirit is unbroken by the passage of time. In this sense, the Onryo serve as a source of inspiration and hope, reminding us that even in our darkest moments, there is still light to be found. Their story speaks to the resilience of human spirit, the capacity of forgiveness and redemption that lies within us all. But perhaps the most profound implication of the Onryos lies in their reflection of the cyclical nature of suffering and redemption. In the relentless pursuit of vengeance, they become trapped in the never-ending cycle of violence and despair. Their spirits, bound to the mortal realm by the weight of their own suffering. Yet, even in the depths of their despair, there remains a glimmer of hope, a faint whisper of redemption that calls out to those who would listen. For in the end, it is not vengeance that brings peace, but forgiveness and understanding, the willingness to let go of the past and embrace the future with open arms. As our journey into the realm of the Onryo draws to a close, we are left with profound sense of awe and reverence for the mystery that lie beyond the veil of unknown. Through the tales of these vengeful spirits, we have explored the depths of human suffering and despair, delving into the darkest corner of the human sight in search of understanding and enlightenment. But what have we learned from our exploration of the Onryo? What insights have we gained into the nature of justice, karma, and the human condition? As we reflect on the stories we have encountered, we are reminded of the timeless truths that bind us all together as members of the human family. First and foremost, the tales of the Onryo serve as a reminder of the power of the human spirits to endure even in the face of unimaginable suffering and despair. Despite the horrors they have endured, these vengeful spirits continue to fight for what they believe is right. Their spirits are unbroken by the passage of time. Secondly, the Onryo challenge us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world we inhabit. Through their stories, we are forced to re-examine our beliefs and values, questioning the nature of justice and morality in the world where the line between right and wrong is often blurred. But perhaps the most importantly, the Onryo remind us of the importance of forgiveness and redemption in the face of adversity. In their relentless pursuit of vengeance, they become trapped in a never-ending cycle of violence and despair. Their spirits bound to the mortal realm by the weight of their own suffering. Yet, even in the depths of their despair, there remains a glimmer of hope, a faint whisper of redemption that calls out to those who would listen. As we bid farewell to the realm of the Onryo, we carry with us the lessons they have taught us and the memories they have left behind. Their stories serve as a reminder of the fragility of life and power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And though their spirits may linger in the shadows, their legacy will endure for generations to come, a testament to the enduring power of myth and legend in shaping the human experience. Join me, mortals, as we continue our journey into the unknown, exploring the mystery that lies beyond the veil of the known. For in the darkness there is light, and in the depths of despair there is hope. Farewell, until we meet again in the realm of the unknown.